Hello there, I'm JT Barnett. I'm a founder and I have a company that teaches brands how to do social media. And in this video, what you guys are about to see is me talking to some brands about social media. I'm talking to two different founders, giving them help with what content I think that they should be making or teams that they should be building to make the content and just my thoughts about going about it. So without further ado, let's jump into it. If you find anything in this video that you enjoy, would love for you to stick around. All right, here we go.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Nice to meet you. I'm Madhu.
Great to meet you.
Yeah, I just realized that I think 2 or 3 years ago I reached out to your team.
No way.
Yeah, I went back and I was looking at my email and it was someone on your team was just like, "Hey, let's set up an intro call," and I completely lost track of it. And I was
Very
just like,
cool.
"Wow, clearly
Very
I found
cool.
you 3 years ago and you're everywhere."
Wow. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, and then I think Nick Sharma had mentioned you in an email too, and then I know Nick as well. So anyway,
Love
really
him.
nice to meet you. I've also watched your course, which was really cool.
Wow, did you really?
Gave that. I did. I watched your
Thank you.
entire course in the last 48 hours.
That's awesome. Thank you.
um,
Appreciate that very
which I'm
much.
so impressed that you give that away for free because I feel like so many people charge for it.
Thank you.
So it's really, really cool. Anyway, really nice to meet you. My name's Madhu. I run a company called We make clinical skincare for skin of color. Well, actually, it used to be skin of color. Now it's for all skin tones. And these are our bottles. We're in Sephora today. We're in 280 stores across the country.
Awesome.
And I reached out because I wanted to chat with you about a couple of things.
Cool.
One on the brand side and then one on the personal side. But before I do that, do you have any broad strokes questions to help understand?
Not at all. Actually, this is the first call that I've been able to see the notes that you left before. So I actually was able to look at
Amazing.
the brand account,
Sure.
and I want to pull it up to be able to walk through it with you. But I have no initial questions.
Okay, cool. So what I've realized for me is that I need to be posting, but then the issue that I have is just where do I post? On the brand account, on my personal account? How do I get ideas? How do I set up a team so that I'm doing this on the regular? Because I'm also running the company, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the last thing that gets done, and I'm exhausted, and I'm not creative at that point, you know?
For sure.
So be curious if you've dealt with that, because it's this personal versus brand account is a real issue. Um,
I think the person. I think because you're in Sephora, I think that
yeah,
having a brand account is super important. I don't think that you're at a place anymore where it's just doing it through personal is the way that I would recommend. I think that you should, ideally, you're doing both, but because you're running the company and the time thing is a challenge, to me, the personal is less of an importance. I think you can be included in the brand account, in videos, to where you're still the face, or you're still involved, and
yeah,
it still is showing you. But I think you got to figure out how to nail the brand side, which leads me to ask more about the structure of everybody that's touching content on the brand side and the budget that you're putting towards those people, because if you need to go, you could also do super polished. But I'm curious as to what the team was looking like with the social manager and what that person was, the salary or budget or whatever towards the social
yeah,
media manager, because you might just need to hire somebody that's more talented to run the account or create for the account. That could be an agency, that could be a person.
yeah.
But I'm just curious what the setup was with them.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think I was making a lot of mistakes, but I have hired sort of new grads to run the social account because they're the ones who understand
Yep.
the platform better. But then the issue that I have with the new grads is they need a lot of coaching, and a lot of ideas, and then a lot of I don't know. It's interesting. Is they get paid anywhere from 80 to 100K. So that's kind of their salary, which honestly was more than I got paid when I graduated college. But then I don't know. I think they're just
Sorry. These
yeah,
grads are 80 to 100K.
yeah,
Um, to me, I actually think that is. I actually think that that's a great price point. I actually think that
yeah,
I think that the challenge might be that the person that you found might not be the right person, because that to me is actually a great price point. 80 to 100 grand, you should be able to find somebody that is super legit. Like super legit. Do you know the brand Set Active? They're like a new So they just hired a content creator that they're paying like 85,000, and he is in the office every day making content on TikTok. I think they're also posting a lot of it on Instagram, but specifically for TikTok. But he is like a creator who is legit already on his own account, that then they are bringing in and are like, hey, just do the same kind of stuff for us. Yeah. It's a creator who is ideally already a consumer of the brand or the category, so they can speak to the brand in the category, and that fits the vibe of who the brand is. So he met all of that criteria. Somebody was just telling me that they saw the job application go up before for something like 85,000, but that is like a legitimate talent that is coming in and creating content. It's completely different than somebody that's like UGC that is just making like, you know, I'm looking at your website, so like videos of like them putting the product on, or like unboxing, or like that stuff. I think you can find somebody for like $3,000 that is like way lower end. You're not looking at them as like, this person's gonna like crush it and build our account. If you're investing $8,000 to $10,000 a month on a creator, I think you should be able to find somebody that is like a beast of a creator that wants to come and do it for you.
And so you would suggest like basically posting on our own accounts to find this person.
Yeah, so the first place I would do it would be post on everywhere that you guys have an audience. Post on your Instagram, send out a blast in your email. I would reach out to current customers that are like in the top 10% of repeat purchasers and just send them direct emails. Hey, know that you are obsessed with our brand. Do you happen to be a creator by chance? Because we're looking for creators. I would do that. I would post it on your personal and your Instagram story. I don't think you need to post it necessarily on LinkedIn, but I would post it like on you could even post it on LinkedIn if you wanted to on your personal. Hey, anybody know, but like same thing on Instagram story. Hey, any of my friends know any creators that are interested in making content for our brand? Just like get it out into the world, because somebody that's already following you is going to be the person that you want to see it. So there might be somebody that hits you up and is like, I've loved your product. I'm actually I have my own audience, but this is like a great side thing for me to do, because a lot of creators don't know how to monetize their own accounts. So this is like a perfect thing for them to jump in. But you want to find somebody with that budget, you want to find somebody that is legitimate. Like their account is actively doing well. Their account is they actively have an audience that you can see that they are making content and doing a good job with.
When you say actively doing well, what does that mean?
If you look at their TikTok, majority of their videos have over 10,000 views. Majority of their comment sections are at least 5 to 10 comments of like genuine intrigue or interest from people, not like spam and not like just an emoji, like genuine interest. And then I would say, followers I think is debatable. I do think that for somebody that's like this legit, like you want to find somebody that has built an audience beyond probably 50,000. I would say anything below 50,000, I would be like they might have like just caught some traction. I think above 50,000 with 10,000 views, I think like this person is like actively has a community.
Yeah.
And I think you want somebody, not even I think you want, with that price point, I think you are looking at somebody that you're like, you are legit. You are going to come in and you're going to know what to do, and you're going to create, you're going to create at whatever frequency you think we need to be posting at to build this. And like, we want you to like build this. That means if they are in office with you, and this is where it totally depends on the content style. Like if you're looking for somebody like Set Active, they have somebody who's literally filming on an iPhone in the office, sometimes holding microphones, sometimes doing trends, sometimes doing showing what the product is and talking about the material, but like somebody that's talented at doing all that. There could be that style. There's also a style of like there's this IMMI ramen. It's like a better for you ramen brand, and they have like a separate account right now where they have a creator that is doing higher production man on the street interviews with like a nice camera, wearing like an IMMI ramen outfit and like interviewing people but asking deep questions, and they're like good at the interview process.
Yeah.
But the content looks really nice. It's higher production, and like that's the kind of caliber of creator that I think you're going after.
Yeah.
Not like a little TikToker that just is like out of college and is new to it, even though that's not a bad play for some. You're like you've been willing to like invest in it. I think you can find somebody that's way more upskilled.
Interesting. Okay, so I've just probably been looking in the wrong place. It sounds like.
Yes.
And then in terms of like, because I saw your case studies in that in the course. I know they might be a little bit old now, but like, for example, with Poppy, it was like what took off was the personal story of the founder, and then how you built the business. And then with La La Land, it was more sort of like IMMI, and it's like
Great example. Yes.
Cool things,
Yep.
right? I'm trying to figure out like, there's that for the brand, but then there's also like personal accounts. What we have been told so much, like by Sephora, and one of our investors is like Jay Brown from Rock Nation. He's just like, you need to build your personal brand associated with this brand, right? So then I'm like so confused. I'm like, which one do we start on first, right? Like there's just too much, and then I get overwhelmed.
Okay, here's my thoughts. So this creator that you're paying, let's just call it $10,000 a month. This creator that you're paying $10,000 a month should be able to have some of the videos that they are creating be sharing your story, helping you share your story on the brand account. They should be legitimate enough, whether it's the IMMI style, whether it's the La La Land great example style, that creator, whether it's their style that they know or not, they should be talented enough to help you make some videos for the brand account. On Instagram, you can collab with brand and personal, so it's building your personal. Like you can like use the collab feature to where it'll show up on your brand account and your personal. So that'll build it a little bit, just regardless. But for your personal account, what I would say is, hopefully this person can help you tell some of your own stories. But I think like the headspace, this creator that you find should remove any sort of strain of you needing to be the person to build the social media. Like it should be like, let that go to like hand it off to this person, and I don't have to micromanage. That's the one thing. So then you can focus on with your personal, you telling some of the stories that you actually care about telling.
Yeah.
I think if you're like actually operating and doing too much, it's going to be too hard for you to be like, now I all of a sudden need to be a creator. So that means you either need to set aside a separate budget aside from that person that's running the running the brand account, set aside a separate budget for somebody that can either help you create stories, like just do strategy around your stories and like help you write them out, or somebody that can actually help you film them, or like an agency that manages the entire thing for you. I think that that's much harder on a platform other than LinkedIn, but like I have people that help me write things on LinkedIn. I sit down and do an interview like this, and then they take it and they like turn it into written things. So I think it depends on where you want to build your personal brand, but the notes around the personal brand is you're not going to be able to be the person that's creating all of it if you're running everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think you want to be. So I would be like, is there a possibility for us to put budget towards somebody else that helps with my personal? If there is, you can probably do it for cheaper, where it's like $2,000 or $3,000 a month for somebody to sit with you and literally help you write out stories. And then all you need to do for that is literally just post a photo on Instagram with the story in the caption and link that and like copy that, collab that with the brand account. And then you're building your personal at the same time.
Right. Yeah. But then in terms of like sourcing for this person, is it the same thing, or is it like more just
Different. For the person, for your personal.
correct?
Personal,
Yeah.
I don't think you need a creator. I don't think you need somebody like to create. The difference between the brand account is the brand account, you're looking for somebody that will be in the content.
Yeah.
Your personal, you don't need anybody in the content. You just need somebody to sit with you and help you make the content about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's like an agency. That could be a freelancer. That could be a it could be a creator. I mean, it could be somebody on your team that just knows how to like write out stories. It could be a copywriter that you guys are already using for your emails. It could be somebody that's like already existing around you. You just need somebody to like dedicate a couple of hours per week with you to be like, hey, how do we think about this? Or tell me a story that you feel has been impactful to the brand. Like I even know on the Lions Post site you have your guys' like story. Tell me this story. Let me turn this into like a written piece, and then you just send me a photo that you feel like resonates with this story, and now we have a piece of content. We need to do like 2 or 3 of those a week, and that's the way that we're gonna build while you're still able to like run the business.
Yeah. Okay, this is interesting. So, question for you on this. So, like, brand, in terms of like content, I think it's a little bit more boxed in, right? Like, we're a skincare brand. I have to do things that are roughly related to that, right? Like, it's not going to be so out of left field. I mean, maybe. But I think there's probably some content formats we need to try, like this interview style one, which we did do, and it worked. We asked people, like, we went into Sephora stores and we asked people, what do you think SPF stands for, right? Because we have the sunscreen. And, like, nobody knew the answer. Like, it was actually really surprising. Nobody knew the answer.
Well, I actually want to guess. Is it like sun protection formula or something like that? Sun protection
You're close. It's sun protection factor.
factor. There we go.
So,
Okay.
yeah, but like it was crazy. Like nobody knew the exact answer to that. So that one did well. So it sounds like, and people interacted with that a lot. Like people were just like, oh, I didn't know, and all this stuff. So the interview style, I feel like could work for us on the brand if we're like educating and interviewing at the same time. For personal, what's challenging for me is like if I'm coming up with the ideas, for me, like all my ideas are not always about skincare. It's about running a company, right?
Yes.
It's always like, I mean, I'm having conversations like this. I'm like, how do I grow? How do I budget? How do how do I build the team? How do I hire?
And yeah, and you're different in the sense of that's not you. You don't want to just sit and talk about
That's not me.
skincare.
I can't like only talk about skincare, right? Like I think, and that's why I stopped. That's why I don't create content because I'm like, okay, I'm not thinking about like skincare 120% of the time. But I know that that is her strategy, and it worked really well, right? So that's my challenge too. Is like personally, I don't know if I can just stick to that niche.
I think that so the end goal, I think, for personal brand is like brand awareness, and then when you do have like a new product or something like that, like there is a chance that somebody sees the product for the first time and goes full funnel and actually purchases it through seeing it off of your personal account. But I think the brand awareness is really just like, it doesn't need to be all about skincare. I think that it just needs to be more about you, because you are the founder and you are doing it. So I just think the more that you are seen, it's people seeing you and then being like, oh, this is what she does. It's the same thing as a skincare. Like people are seeing her for their other skincare just because they see her for, what the FDA is messing up. That doesn't mean that that's necessarily transactionally benefiting the skincare company that she has. I think that it's them seeing that video and then just getting curious about what this person does or who they are, and then they click on and they're like, oh, she actually has a skincare brand. That's the same thing as you. Like that's the same thing as you being like how I run my day as a CEO. And it's like them seeing that and getting intrigued and then going onto your account and seeing, oh, wait a minute, you actually run this, and now I'm even more interested in the product. So you don't need to be the same as anybody else. You need to just lean more into and create around like what makes you you and what are the things that you want to share. And those are the things that will eventually resonate.
So you don't think it's like a big deal if I was just like, here's a self-help book I'm reading? It's like completely.
I think the way that I would go about it is thinking about what's the common thread between all of these videos that I'm posting. So for example, if you were like, I'm a founder, here is a self-help book that has helped me running my day-to-day as a founder, or like mental health is such an important part of being a founder because you're constantly stressed. Here's a self-help book that has helped me as a founder. Then everything clicks. Then there's a common thread between all of this. Let me add a couple more minutes on here.
Right.
So what I think is just, you don't have to figure out how to fit into the box. You have to just figure out what's the common theme that allows everybody to refer to me in a similar way. So when they're describing me to their friends, it's a common description. Just what's the similarities between all my videos?
Yeah. And so like in my case, it would be like skincare founder.
Yeah. Just let's recap everything.
Yeah.
For a creator, if you are actually running with the budget of $10,000, you should be finding somebody that is super, super, super legitimate. I think the way that you can go about that, aside from just you posting, I think that you can have somebody on your team that has extra free time to go and search on platforms of keywords that are around you and your brand, skincare, makeup routine, things like that. Go and search that and look at videos of people that have performed high, and click onto their account and see if a lot of their videos are working, and see if they're the kind of creator that you would want. And then I would just send them some messages, because some of those people that are, even if you're like, this person's way out of our league, some of them don't know how to turn their thing into a business. So them getting 10K consistently is like a real life-changing opportunity for them, especially to work with a brand like you that they're like, oh wait, I actually have seen you before. So I would do like some manual outreach, you guys.
Okay.
Personal brand, I would look to find somebody to help you just get these stories out of your brain and into some sort of format. So like you be able to ramble while somebody's clicking record, and just ramble, and then them take that voice recording and go and turn it into like a LinkedIn post or an Instagram caption. Then the only thing that you have to do, I don't think you need to lean into video. I think the only thing you need to do is find photos that relate to that story. Mm-hmm. Find photos, or have somebody come take photos and it just be iPhone and it be easy. Then you're posting content without needing it to be like this really hard like video production thing.
Yeah, I think for the personal one, Sephora wants me to do it on TikTok, right? So it's just like, and that's been the challenge.
You could do photo on TikTok. Do carousels.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I actually think that that's a really underutilized play. You could do carousels, and the difference between the single photo, the difference between the video versus photo is, rather than you doing one video, you just need to get 10 photos that relate to that story, and it be like written on the video. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Yeah, I can. And so basically, I just need someone like an assistant almost to help me with this.
Yes.
Okay, that's really helpful. This is great. Thanks so much.
Loved that. So fun. I love doing these consultings. Oh, so cool.
The company is called. We were incorporated just a couple months ago when our no compete ended after selling the last company. We had some pretty significant partners. So our main partner is the founder of New, the vitamin supplement company.
Okay.
We have eight full-time employees. These are all people that worked for us before. They all know a lot about hats. And then we're building these showrooms in Utah and Colorado to start, where basically people will fly out to us, or we'll go to them and have them sit down with an artist and help them create literally any hat they can imagine.
And you guys do all the design and all of that too for the hats? It's not just the actual production of the blank.
Yeah, they do everything. Yep. So, like I said, our website and our social media profiles will go live in a few weeks. That's when our inventory will come in, and we'll have like a Shopify store set up and everything. And then we're kind of starting from scratch here, obviously. You know, we've sold 20,000 followers or whatever. And David and I, we're not really huge like social media people, so we don't really have like our own followings that we can really pump stuff out to. And so when we launch this, I'm also going to launch my own. I'm going to kind of rejoin Instagram. I own the handle, which is kind of of cool. But so I can kind of do a little bit of like the building in public type of a thing, and kind of showing people new hats that I'm constantly coming up with, and so I'll be kind of pushing that a little bit, but we're kind of starting from scratch here.
Awesome. So cool. So that model that you're talking about right there is a way that I think that you guys could actually really build the identity around the brand. Because you're correct about you sending somebody like a Colorado Avalanche hat that has on it, but that they can go and buy in the store. One, if they post it to their audience, a lot of the audience is now going to be looking at Colorado Avalanche versus. Two, it's not as much limited, so it's really like most people can go and get that pretty easily. Whereas this model that you're talking about of like you guys being able to actually have the customizability and doing that with people that I think are influential in culture in the ways that you guys want to actually be recognized, that is a model that I think really moves nicely in terms of building your brand. Like that would be a huge focus of mine. Making collaborations with. Actually, let me ask you: what's the realm of culture that you guys want to touch on? Is it sports that you guys want to be focused on, or do you guys want to be like all popular culture? Do you guys want to pick a couple of lanes? What's the thoughts around that?
So I mean, the idea is kind of just like a slightly, like a slightly higher end streetwear brand along the lines of like Kith or something, or but we're totally cool with tapping into any kind of groups of culture.
So let's jump into that though. Love that. I would look at all the different people that are all the people that are influential in culture that you think shop at Kith or are consumers of Kith, and I would pick 5 or 6 different talent, like a musician, an athlete, somebody that's just a creator, like 5 or 6 different people that you think are influential in culture that have that same demographic that Kith has. And I would go to those people and be like, hey, we want to make you a limited run of custom hats that you're going to have full creative freedom around. And we want to sell like whatever you guys think is the right number, 50, 100, 300, 500, however many you think you guys actually can sell. But it's less about the selling and making money off of that. It's more about building the brand of just like, we want you to do this with your audience, have it be super limited, even have it be intentional around, like it could be somebody's birthday, it could be a memorable moment, it could be a product launch that they're doing, something in culture that's happening, like the Olympics, who knows. But like picking these memorable moments and launching a single SKU with that influencer or that talent and having them market it, because their audience then has a limited thing that they get to be involved in. And now people are like, oh, if this hat is actually dope, which they will like because it will be that creator having their own creative be involved with it. Now that actually is like, oh, something that I actually care about more. Does that make sense? Yep. That to me is the way right now, because social is the content and social is the way that you guys are going to be able to build the brand the quickest. Yes, getting into these stores with the Avalanche and the NHL and being in all of these stores is a way that people will put the product on their head and buy it. But for people to actually go from, I wear this hat because it was the hat that was being sold in the store, to I wear this hat and I rep and I want to purchase more of, that to me is they need to know more about the brand. They need to actually like see the brand with other influential people. They need to see content that resonates with them. Yes, the product needs to be something that they care about when they actually put it on, but like it needs to be influenced in other ways by other people that they also care about. And the fact that you guys can do that with these limited runs, I think that that's a huge play. I think it's the same thing. I think you lean into the creativity, and I think the only difference between in 1999 to doing this right now is the medium to share it with people is going to be social. So it's like we got to find people that match our creativity, match the creativity that we put into the hat with the creativity that we're doing with our content. So if that's finding like a certain style of videographer or a certain style of photographer, or however you guys decide to put the brand onto social, that's going to be the way that people actually look at it and are like, oh shit, they're doing something different than all of these other companies are doing. the way for you to get that street cred is going to be collaborating with people that have the audience of, if it's inner city, the people that have that audience, collaborating with some people like that are influential in that community. That's the first way. The second way will be the content that you shoot, even when it's not a collaboration, needs to appeal to those people. So you guys got to do your research of like, what are they watching? Who are they watching? We got to make content like that person. That's the second thing. And then the third thing would be, if you guys do any of those collaborations, I would take additional product that you have and seed it to all other people that are influential in that community as well, just to get them to have the product. Because then you're like infiltrating and getting affiliated with in all different areas that you can. That's the way that I think that people will be like, yo, we really care about that brand. And in terms of collaborations, it doesn't even need to just be a person. You guys could also collaborate with businesses and establishments and do like a custom hat of like, I'm going to give you an example, like In-N-Out or something like that. And doing a collaboration with some sort of brand that's influential in the culture that you're trying to appeal to, whoever it is. And doing a collab with that. And I think actually a lot of brands are really looking to do collaborations in that kind of way. That could be a really cool way to do it. But you guys collabing with a brand that has the audience that you guys are trying to be relevant with, those are the ways that I think you get into that market.